Firstly, your views on Europe right now and what it means for the currency, that euro-dollar. 127 is when I last checked it. Of course, we had that positive GDP figure coming through from Germany, enough to boost markets at the start of the trading session. But then, of course, political uncertainty continues to creep in and weigh down on that euro. What are your thoughts right now on that?
Came out for the Eurozone was fairly positive. We had expected the Eurozone to dip into a recession in the first quarter of this year, but we did see Germany and a number of other economies holding their ground. However, there were about 8 economies that out of the 17 economies making up the Eurozone that has dipped into a recession, and that's really going to be one of the deciding factors of whether we see the GDP growth for that region for this year remaining in negative territory. We do believe that the political risks have outweighed the positive news coming out of the GDP numbers, and we see that continuing for some time, especially given the fact that Greece is nowhere near forming a government. And that's going to continue over the next couple of days and weeks as we head into June and the Greeks go back to the polls to try and sort out the mess in that region. We do believe that the euro is going to come under significant pressure over the next few days, and that's obviously going to lead into pressure on the local unit as well. There is some positive news that's possibly likely to come out of South Africa, which could support the local unit, but on the whole, we do see international developments playing a major role and really driving our local unit.
Before we look at the local data that we're expecting out today, very quickly, safe haven flows right now, is it still the yen and the dollar that are benefiting from those?
Yes, it is, and as it has been over the past couple of weeks, sterling has also received some kind of safe haven status. We are seeing that the dollar is really the major player in this market, as investors are basically taking their money out of risky assets, including emerging market economies, and that's really on the back of what's happening in the Eurozone at the moment.
Of course, we do have retail sales figures coming out today from South Africa, the market looking for that, and that, of course, will provide clarity on the type of GDP figure we're expecting for quarter one. Looking at consensus, looking at 6.6% overall growth for March. Where's Standard Bank in line with what consensus is saying?
Well, Standard Bank is a bit out of consensus for this month for March. We're expecting an increase of 7.9%, and this is really on the back of the fact that we are seeing still fairly low interest rates and an inflation profile that is starting to ease somewhat. We are expecting, even though inflation is still at the 6% level, we are expecting inflation to moderate back within the target band during the course of this year, and it is possible that we could see that supporting retail sales over the next, having supported retail sales in March and possibly in April. So we do expect that the retail sector is likely to contribute positively towards GDP numbers, which are expected out on the 29th of May. Having said that, however, there has been data which came out last week from the mining and manufacturing sectors, which is likely to oppose some downside risk to that GDP number. We did see the mining production data come in fairly negative, and it is expected to subtract from GDP in the first quarter. The manufacturing sector, however, having posted negative growth in March, is, however, expected to continue contributing positively towards GDP in the first quarter.
Is the rand oversold right now? We're looking at the rand, what, 8.35 today. Has it been oversold? Do you think the sharp downward movement that we've seen in the local unit against the greenback has been overdone?
Well, we do believe that over the next couple of days, and possibly during the course of this day, if we do see retail sales number coming a little bit more positive and it's more or less in line with what Standard Bank is seeing, we could see the local unit strengthen somewhat, but as I mentioned earlier, it could be tempered by the negative developments in the Eurozone. So if we do see negative developments come through and we see the rand break through the 8.40 level, we could possibly see a move towards 8.45 at this point.
Okay, so if we had to put our, look into the glass ball today, are you able to say where the rand is going? Do you have trading ranges? Are you able to provide any kind of direction for the markets in terms of what you're looking at for the rand?
In terms of trading ranges, as I just mentioned, we are going to see a fairly narrow trading range, but a weak one at that. We have seen in the past couple of weeks rand within a very tight range. This is also expected during the course of the day, but as I mentioned, weak. So we are seeing a move of about 8.30 to about 8.45.